I don't really think anybody's too surprised about this kind of video. And honestly, this is kind of the thing that I think everybody has been bringing up in the comment section of all the previous Jack Eichel videos in the past. So the fact that we're making this video here doesn't really present any new ideas or really information to anybody who has been keeping up with this channel and watching the Jack Eichel videos, because as the saga has unfolded, we've made a ton of content over the past few weeks of all the teams that are in, that are out. As teams get in and as teams drop out, we make more updates as to that, and we discuss what could be potential fits in a trade, and what some of those teams are potentially being asked of. Usually, it's a lot of stuff. And because of this reason, we end up having the same discussion in the comments almost repeatedly, that whatever it is that Buffalo is asking for their captain is quite the haul, and as a result, it wouldn't really be worth it for X team to go out there and make Y trade involving the assets Z, A, B, C, etc. So this video here kind of goes over that particular aspect of these conversations, and it comes to us in the form of a Reddit post on our Buffalo Sabres. Take a look at this. Elliotte Friedman, on the recent episode of the 31 Thoughts podcast, suggests that Eichel's asking price is just much too high for other NHL teams. He also says that the treatment for his neck resolution that we discussed about in a previous video is mostly because the Sabres believe Eichel is running out of time for a surgery to be done and then be ready for training camp. It doesn't seem like at this stage it's likely to end anytime soon, and the Sabres are prepared to remain steadfast for their asking price for Eichel. This is what I'm most happy about. I don't care how long it takes, just do it right. The poster ends off the post with. That's probably not Friedman at the end there giving his own personal opinion. But Friedman does indicate something that everybody has been kind of aware of over the past few weeks, that yeah, the Eichel price is just way too high. As we've noted in previous videos, it's of the caliber of a first-round top 10 pick. Okay, that's one particular asset. You have yourselves a potential young center, top 6 caliber coming back to fill in the roster spot that Eichel leaves. Okay, that's 2 assets right there. 3, the Sabres are reportedly asking for a top 4 defenseman as well. And then number 4, you have yourselves a boatload of other prospects and stuff, adding icing onto the cake here for what would be a potential Eichel offer. A first, a top 4 defenseman, a top 6 forward, and prospects on top of that. Man, for one player in Eichel, that is huge. Now, I know it's easy for people to go out there and say, okay, well, the Sabres should just go out there and lower their trade price, because you're not going to get Eichel here on a deal to another team with the price you're asking for right now. And I think that's what everybody will kind of refer to, because it's been reported that all these other teams, like LA, like Chicago, like Anaheim, like New York, they've all been kind of dropping like flies out of these Eichel conversations because, man, that price is just way too high. But when it comes to the Eichel trade talks, the Buffalo Sabres are ultimately in a position of power here, because, sure, their asset, Jack Eichel, is in the worst state he has been in value-wise ever on the team. He's at a point where he's got this surgery that he wants to do that the team doesn't want him to do. He's unhappy with where he is in Buffalo, and you don't even know if he's going to be able to come back to the NHL in pure prime form. But still, he's a guy who, when healthy, is a point-per-game player, one of the best American players in the league, and he's got a long-term contract at $10 million. He could easily outplay the $10 million AAV contract if things go right for him in the next few seasons. And I think if you're the Buffalo Sabres, the ultimate thing you have to look at is, even though this guy doesn't want to play for you, even though he is in a position where he's got all this bad stuff happening, like the disinterest and the surgery and the injuries, he still is that guy. He's still your captain, and he's still extraordinarily valuable, so I'm not blaming Kevyn Adams one bit for having a price and sticking to it, no matter the reception from the league. Oh man, the Anaheim Ducks are not talking to us anymore because we want this stuff for Eichel. Oh well, that's their loss. Okay, the Chicago Blackhawks now don't want to entertain our offers anymore. Alright, well, we'll wait for a team that eventually does, and then we're gonna get our haul then. It's almost like a Matt Duchene, Joe Sakic kind of moment, where Sakic was trying to trade Duchene for months, but eventually waited and got the haul that he wanted for Duchene in a 3-way trade a little bit down the line. Now, I'm not saying that Kevyn Adams is Joe Sakic, but hey, this could be that same kind of scenario where the team holds out because at the end of the day, they're not required to trade this guy, and they hold on to him for a bit until the right team comes along and ends up giving the Sabres what they want. Some of the comments over here on this Reddit post kind of go over the perspectives and the pros to this side for the Buffalo Sabres. Not getting fleeced is 90% of the haul for Buffalo. And yeah, that kind of has to be the case here, because this is your captain, this is a franchise talent, this is a point-per-game player in his sleep when he is healthy. You do not want to go out there and make a trade where a few years down the line everybody's laughing in your face because, oh my goodness, you only got this, that, and the other thing for Eichel? Come on, look at this guy, he just won an Art Ross or whatever. Incoming opposition fans will tell the Sabres to lower your asking price. No, it's not about taking the best offer. It's about taking the right offer. We're under no obligation to trade him. You're concerned about the injury? Fine. Pay double when he gets healthy. And that's kind of another thing that I wanted to take a look at too. Because imagine if nobody goes out there and nobody bites the bullet on Jack Eichel. Okay, the price is too high, a top 10 pick, a top 4 D-man, a top 6 forward, and some prospects for a guy who is injured and we don't know how certain he is to come back properly. Well, what if he does come back properly? Who cares if Eichel doesn't want to play for Buffalo? The point is he still has to play for Buffalo. He's still legally obligated to do that because he's got a contract. What if he puts up 100 points next year with the Sabres? I know he plays in the Sabres, and I know one guy can't do it all for a hockey club. But with talent like this, you can expect ceilings that are astronomically high and unrealistic. So if Jack Eichel comes out here and gets himself 100 points next year, and guess what? He still wants to be traded. He still wants out. What's the price for Eichel going to be then? You think Kevin Adams is going to trade him for anything less than the offer that it is today? Absolutely not. The value of this guy is going to get better as he gets healthier, and because he is in this spot now where all of the things are kind of aligning to a point where everything around this guy is negative, oh, he doesn't want to play for his team, oh, he might not come back healthily, oh, he's got neck surgery, all this stuff is here at the moment right now. This guy's value is never going to get any lower. And if it does, it's gonna be because he comes back or he doesn't come back and eventually he's forced to LTIR himself or whatever, and it's done. At that point, it's not even worth making a trade for this guy. Some of the comments on this Reddit post are talking about how the Sabres are taking all of the risk here because they have themselves a whole bunch of teams giving them offers, and you're literally trading your captain. Like, I can't understate how important of a player Eichel is. You need to make sure you get a win in this trade, no matter how unlikely or how impossible it seems. Because sure, you're trading one guy who is a franchise talent. It's really gosh darn difficult to go out there and win that trade. But it's not like it's impossible. Peter Forsberg was acquired in that Eric Lindros trade back 20 years ago or whatever it was. And guess what? The Quebec Nordiques, soon turned Colorado Avalanche, ended up winning some cups because of it. Nice. Now, I'm not going to say that Jack Eichel is Eric Lindros and that you can get the quantity of assets that the Flyers gave up for Lindros in an Eichel trade, but at the end of the day, just because you're trading away a star player does not mean you can't get any value back. So that's why Kevin Adams is going out there and saying, okay, Chicago, give us Kirby Dach, give us the 11th overall pick, and give us some other prospects. Okay, Anaheim, give us 3rd overall, one of Zegras or Drysdale, and whichever defenseman you have there that can be expended as well. Okay, Columbus, is it Patrick Laine you want to give up? Because hey, if you want a Jack Eichel, you gotta give us that Laine. New York, talk to us about Lafreniere and Kakko, and that's when we'll answer our door. That's kind of the conversation you have to have here internally when you're Kevin Adams because of just how gosh darn good Jack Eichel is. Even though all this negative stuff is going on around him, at the end of the day, he is still one of the best players in the league when healthy. So, even though Friedman might be right in that circumstantially, the Eichel asking price is way too high at the moment for a guy who might not even be himself or playing hockey next year, the Sabres are well within their right to keep Eichel around if there's no offer that makes them satisfied, play him out if he's able to do that, and just say, okay, we're not going to trade you until an offer comes around that we actually feel is good. Because the Sabres cannot afford to screw up this trade in the slightest. So, talk to me in the comments what you thought about this entire video over here. Hope you enjoyed this Eichel conversation. Do you think the price is too high? I personally do. I know everybody's going to say, yeah, it is. But talk to me in the comments as well what you think about the response to that and why the Sabres have it in this position where it's so astronomically high, probably unproportionally so. I hope you enjoyed this video, Josh 99, and bye.